Hello, yarn tubers, as charmed Granny would say, Lynette. Welcome back to Dana's Wanderlust Crochet with Dana and Dooley. Dooley is in a meeting, that's for sure. Hi, baby. I am just outside of Jordan Valley, Oregon, home of the Big Loop team roping. That's part of my world. If you don't know what team roping is, don't worry about it. You're probably not interested. Unless you know people roping, you know, at the team roping, it's like watching paint dry. So anyway, I love this part of the world. Another part of the world that I really love. And since I'm in the dead zone, no man's land, where there is not going to be any internet access for the next hour and a half, so I can't listen to Madonna in her live right now. Let's see, it is 2:21 p.m. Mountain Time, so it's 3:21 Central where she's at, so she's a couple hours into this. She's doing great too. Okay, so let's talk about this swap that I plan on doing starting the first of the year and going. You need to have your swap items mailed out by March 31st because it's going to be springtime pastel colors. So this is, let me explain this. Let me get my thoughts together here. Years ago, in a land called Yahoo Groups, we used to, in the scrapbooking community, you remember scrapbooking was huge at one time. Huge! And I was a scrapbooking instructor, and there were different elements that you could create or buy. You could buy embellishments, all kinds, whether they were brads, or they were snaps, or they were rivets, you know, things that you could do to your paper. You could also make things like a paper piecing or some quill work. Okay, so all these different elements, like, okay, so I would join in a swap, and there would be 10 categories and 10 people in the swap. So what I would do for each of those categories, like a category would be a paper piecing. Like I could cut out pieces of paper and put them together to look like a cowboy boot. Or a quilled item where you quill it, okay. Or I could buy some metal embellishments. 10 different categories. And I had to send one of each of those categories to 10 different people. Okay, and for the most part, those swaps went really smooth, but these people were tough. This was not something that you could just say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, and then just blow it off, because they had lists of people. They would list your name and what the swap was and what your response was. You would get reported, you know, on that list if your stuff smelled like smoke or was like completely riddled with cat hair or smelled like cat pee, or if you disappeared in the middle of the swap and did not mail out your swap stuff. Oh, they were ruthless. Okay, I want to take a chance on this community and do something similar in the crochet world. So this is a pretty big deal. So be sure that you're committed, please. What I'll do is have a list of 10 people who are involved in the swap, and everybody's going to know everybody else's name that's in the swap. So let's say I joined the swap. And what I'm going to get is a list of 10 people with their mailing address, and I'm going to crochet 6-inch squares. I'm going to have to crochet, so 10 people, I'm going to have to crochet 60 of those squares. in pastel colors because this is going to be a spring theme. It doesn't have to be a granny square. It can be a back and forth or a round thing that turns into a square. As long as it's square and it's in pastels, you do the same. Do the same one 60 times. Oop, take off my jig brake coming out of there. So I'm going to crochet 60 6-inch squares. Now here's the thing about, measuring your squares. Thank you, Sandy from Crochet A in Canada. Use a construction tape measure when you're contributing squares at a certain size to somebody else. Our little cheap tape measures aren't always correct. Make sure you use something. Make sure that your tape measure is the same as those construction standards. Okay, hold up your tape measure next to a tape measure that you know is correct because it's used for construction projects. Just be careful. Make sure your squares are 6-inch. Crochet 60 of them, and then to each person you're going to send 6 of your squares. Is that right? Yeah, let me think about that. Okay, let me get my head around this. Okay, so I get 6 squares from 10 people. I'm going to get 60 squares. Yes, 6 squares to 10 people. Hello, May. So, does that make sense? Yeah, so you're going to get a list of 10 other crocheters. You're going to send each of them 6 squares that are 6 inches. That should make a nice, it's going to be pastels, Easter, whatever. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys have done this before. I'm new to the whole swapping thing. We did the Libra swap, and I believe it went okay. It went okay. There were a couple of little hiccups. Life got in the way of, 1 or 2 people. One gal just disappeared. I mean, she said she wanted to do it. She was talking about even starting her own YouTube channel, and I have not heard from her in months. Since right after she sent me the email saying that she wanted to not only start her YouTube channel, but she wanted to, be involved in the Libra swap. Totally disappeared. Okay, I'm not going to put her on a list. I'm not going to put her on the naughty list. Okay, something happened there, and I'm worried about her. So anyway, where am I now? This is Rome, Oregon. R-O-M-E, Rome. I'm about ready to cross. I think it's the Owyhee River. This is a burp in the road. This is just a little hiccup right here. Rome Station. I'm going north on 95. Anyway, I don't want to start, the naughty list kind of thing. But I do want to be sure that the 10 people who are chosen to participate in this swap are committed to doing 60 squares. I mean, this is a big deal. You're going to have 3 months, you're going to go from January 1st to, March 31st, making your squares. You've got until March 31st because it's a springtime theme. So, we want everybody to have their squares in April. And we're going pastel colors, pinks and blues and yellows and greens. Just whatever colors you want. Even if all of your squares are all one color, like a baby pink or something, fine. Even if your squares are all one color and they're just done back and forth in single crochet, fine. If you want to do 60 of those, fine. Just make them all the same. That square represents you in our blankets. So, I know it's a big undertaking, but man, we used to do this, you know, at the drop of a hat. I mean, just, it took nothing. And you'd be coordinating like, you know, 20, 30, 40, 60 people in those swaps. Well, I'm going to keep it to 10 people. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Not right now. Oh, I must have had like 5 seconds of internet right there. Am I ready for the holidays? Oh, I know who it is. That's Nicole. Nicole! I got you! I can't tell you what she just sent me. Okay. Anyway, 2020 spring swap. Okay, 2020 spring square swap. Say that 50 million times. 2020 spring square swap. Send me an email if you want to join it. I'll put you all in a special I'll put you all in a special list in my email, and then I'll contact you all on the 1st of January. I just want to give people a heads up time to think about it and get in on that list if they think that's something they really could commit to. And then I'll draw 10 names. It is huge, and if you think it's too big, don't put your name in the hat. It is big. And I don't know how those gals, I never hosted one of those great big swaps. I mean, 6 squares to 10 different people, that's big enough for me. I'm just coordinating this for the US. I'm sorry. I would love to see somebody coordinate this same thing in Canada. You girls should go for it. You could easily find 10 of you that you could trust to be a part of a swap like that. Easy. You girls could do it. Same thing in the UK. If you guys, do it. Put your own, do a spring, pastel kind of swap, or put your own twist on it. Do what you want to do. I think it's fun that, when we all collaborate and do these kinds of things together. So anyway, I've been on here long enough. I gotta get back to Nicole. Oh my goodness. Anyway, people, I don't know why I had internet access right there. That's weird. So 2020 spring square swap, blah blah blah. So send me an email, wanderlustcrochet1@gmail.com, and I'll start getting ready to draw those names. Okay. Have a great day. I love you guys. Bye. One more thing. If any of you want to take this idea and run with it, do it. Don't wait till New Year's. I just have other things going on. That's why I'm waiting till New Year's. But if you other crocheters want to do something exactly like this right now, do it. And those of you who don't get drawn in January to join in this particular swap, do it on your, do another one. Do the exact same thing. Spring square swap. Just put your name on it. Do it. That's total. I would be totally flattered if you did that. Do what you want to do. Take this idea and make it better for your own swap. Go for it. I still love you guys. Bye.